This is the Week in Review for TheTrumpet.com, Friday, April 8th, 2011. Egypt's new government is warming up to Hamas. The Palestinian terrorist organization sent a delegation to Cairo 2 weeks ago. During their three-day visit, Hamas officials met with Egyptian intelligence personnel, Egypt's new foreign minister, and an official from the Supreme Military Council, the body currently ruling the nation. Hamas promised security assurances and expressed solidarity with the Egyptian revolution. Last Monday, a Hamas official said that Cairo promised to open the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt. The following day, the Egyptian government announced it was not enemies with Iran and was ready to turn over a new leaf with both Tehran and Hezbollah. Iran responded last Friday by saying that Iran's relations with Egypt presented an important opportunity. This turnaround in Middle Eastern alignment caught many analysts and commentators by surprise. However, Trumpet editor-in-chief Gerald Flurry predicted that Egypt would join Iran's Islamist camp as long ago as July 1993. On Sunday, the author of a condemning report against Israel publicly reversed himself. In early 2009, Israel conducted Operation Cast Lead against Hamas terrorists in the Gaza Strip. Later that year, the United Nations commissioned Richard Goldstone to undertake a fact-finding mission into the conflict. The now infamous report contained a slew of biased information and slanderous accusations that encouraged many in the international community to reproach Israel for the operation. Since the report, Israel has aggressively investigated each one of Goldstone's 400-plus allegations of military misconduct. Last Friday, Goldstone issued a semi-retraction of his own report, writing, "If I had known then what I know now, the Goldstone report would have been a different document." Goldstone backed down from his harsh accusations of war crimes and said that Israel did not target civilians as a matter of policy, as his report had said. Meanwhile, the United Nations Human Rights Council has stated that Goldstone's retraction was merely his personal opinion and that the discredited report is still valid. On Wednesday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrived in Germany to meet with German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Following the meeting, Merkel said at a press conference that Berlin would not recognize Palestine if it unilaterally declared itself a state. She also supported Netanyahu against Iran, saying that Germany is determined to prevent the country from obtaining nuclear weapons. Netanyahu praised Merkel and said that Israel's security is crucial for her. As the United States proves to be an unreliable ally, watch for Israel to turn to Germany for help. Portugal has finally capitulated to unsustainably high interest rates on its debt. On Wednesday, Lisbon officially requested a bailout from the European Union and the International Monetary Fund, likely in the neighborhood of 80 billion euros. This comes after Prime Minister José Sócrates resigned late last month when the Portuguese Parliament rejected his proposed cuts in spending. As each new country falls, the strain on the euro grows. Bailouts for Greece, Ireland, and now Portugal are also straining other countries. As the Portuguese economy fell, the British Treasury admitted that it will have to contribute perhaps as much as £6 billion to help bail it out. This will put an even greater strain on the relationship between Britain and Europe. A series of articles in Spiegel, based on secret documents, has proved that notorious Holocaust planner Adolf Eichmann was helped out of Germany by members of the German intelligence service and the Roman Catholic Church. The documents reveal that Germany could have captured Eichmann much earlier if it had wanted to. However, it did not do so for fear that his trial might turn up information it wanted hidden. Eichmann himself stated that many priests helped him escape to Argentina without asking questions. Bishop Alois Udall helped Eichmann get the documents he needed to escape. The CIA reported that Chancellor Konrad Adenauer's government was following the Eichmann trial with growing apprehension, sometimes bordering on hysteria. A Foreign Ministry State Secretary said it was quite possible that incriminating material against employees of the federal and state governments will come to light. This dark church-state relationship is one prophesied to become strong once again in the time just ahead. Moody's financial ratings agency downgraded 6 banks in Belarus on Monday. It also downgraded the local currency deposit grade for 3 of the country's state-owned banks. These and other financial setbacks will likely boost Russia's leverage over Belarus. The nation is already struggling with high energy prices and rising inflation and has become increasingly isolated from the European Union and the United States. At the end of March, Belarus requested a $1 billion loan from Russia and a $2 billion loan from a group of former Soviet states called the Eurasian Economic Community. Belarus's intensifying financial troubles will give Russia leverage to tighten its grip on the country and push Europe back west. Russia and the EU are also vying for influence in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych announced Thursday that his country would sign a free trade agreement with the European Union this year. The same day, he told the Ukrainian parliament that he is seeking tighter ties with the customs union of Russia, Belarus, and Kazakhstan. The EU and European-leaning Ukrainians criticized the latter announcement, saying Kiev is playing a double game in seeking to join both unions. However, Russian gas giant Gazprom promised to slash Ukraine's gas bill by $8 billion a year if it joins the customs union. As Russia and Europe fight for control over the middle ground, watch for Ukraine to ultimately get swallowed by the East instead of the West. In western Africa's Ivory Coast, fighting continues to rage between supporters of two rivals for the presidency after a contested election last November. On Sunday, France deployed another 300 troops to its former colony to help keep the peace and help force out incumbent President Laurent Gbagbo. This would clear the way for candidate Alassane Ouattara to succeed to the top spot. Germany also called for Gbagbo to step down. France and Germany have motivation to support the challenger Ouattara, who has proved his loyalty to the EU by providing it with access to important infrastructure facilities. Europe is showing itself willing to secure its interests in Africa by use of military force if necessary. The government of Ecuador has expelled a United States ambassador. The rejection came after the Spanish daily El País published a leaked diplomatic cable in which Ambassador Heather Hodges accused Ecuador of widespread police corruption, possibly with the knowledge of the country's president. The U.S. State Department responded to Hodges being sent home by expelling Ecuadorian Ambassador Luis Gallegos. This leaves Washington without ambassadors in 3 Latin American countries: Ecuador, Bolivia, and Venezuela. Watch for more Latin American countries to officially turn their backs on their northern neighbor in the future. Last Friday, online marketer Epsilon announced that one of its servers had been compromised. Millions of customer addresses and email addresses were stolen in the biggest such breach in U.S. history. The attack is the latest example of the dangers in how reliant and vulnerable modern society is on technology. Many nations even have military units dedicated to computer warfare. This could well turn out to be America's Achilles heel. The Telegraph reported that Britain's invalidity benefit has incentivized sickness to a gross degree. In its first years after being passed in 1971, about 700,000 people claimed the benefit. Today, there are 2.6 million who claim they are incapacitated and need benefits. Some have purposefully arranged their affairs to qualify for the allowance, the Telegraph said, trapping themselves in a squalor of dependency. When the government ran pilot tests, it found that 30% of those on the benefit were fit for work and another 30% were capable of some work. The benefit is being phased out. That is the Trumpet.com Week in Review.